thank you so much. Yeah, here's the recording in progress. Awesome. So yeah, once again, thank you so much for joining us today. And it's a really nice topic. And yeah, like today, I would love to dive into something that's shaking up our whole field. I would say like what happens to human insight in the age of AI. Like we're at this fascinating crossroads on where AI can assist our player research like never before, like speeding things up, generating insights like in seconds, in the blink of an eye, and it's just amazing. But it's not all smooth sailing. Like AI doesn't just enhance our work, it also challenges the very foundation of UX research overall, the empathy and context. So when we rely on it too much, we risk flattening the emotional depth and lived experience of our players. So this isn't just a talk about, well, tools and trends. It's about making sure that we don't lose the human core of our work. So let's get started. So first, when we bring AI into our player research, we're not just adding a new tool to our inventory. It's not like when, for example, like 10 or 15 years ago when we're just doing like moderated playtests and then it comes up like the unmoderated playtest. It's something new, something absolutely different. We are rewriting parts of our rulebook. AI can be incredibly helpful. Yeah, it is. It's absolutely great. And you can just, as fast as possible, just type a request prompt and get the answer. And it's absolutely fascinating. But this also opens up a part of like a serious ethical questions, like, are we still hearing real player voice? Like, do participants actually know that how and which part of their data is being used? Are we slipping into bias or invisible automation without realizing it? In a way, AI challenges not just how we do research, but why we do it. And if we're not careful enough, we risk turning meaningful insight into stats them, or worse, making decision based on distorted or contextless outputs. So before we dive into some specifics, I want to share a bit of what I've been observing during this year or so. So over the past year, while using AI myself, watching other researchers in gaming and beyond like started using it, I noticed something like, and it seems that there's like different levels of AI usage. So it's about different mindset, different practices, and absolutely different risks. And that's what I want to walk you through today. We'll explore the common pitfalls and hidden ethical traps at each level. And if you have some more ideas about those pitfalls and ethical traps, like don't forget to drop your ideas in comments and ask questions. I'd be happy to have the conversation afterwards. And yeah, let's talk about how to move toward more responsible, human-centered use of AI in player research. So let's go with the first level, and I just decided to call like the dump at home. This is where it usually starts. You throw a prompt at the AI, like summarize this interview, or write a UX plan for a mobile game, or something similar, and just hope that that comes back and it makes sense. There is no review, no context, just copy, paste, and pray. The problem, well, this one I guess might be pretty obvious. Like, yeah, he's absolutely confident. Like, if you ask him, like, bring me exactly 45 types of motivations of players, why do they play games? And there might be no 45 actually this type of motivation. He will absolutely confidently like tell you like, hey, here's your list of 45 motivations, and he will just make like bring some ideas, some thoughts, even write for you like, hey, this particular research got this idea of this pattern of 45 motivations, and actually it's absolutely like it's nothing. There's nothing like this. It's absolutely made up, and AI is doing it so confident. So this is really a huge problem. AI is confident even when it's completely wrong. And it might repeat buzzwords, offer some generic or misaligned insights, or miss the actual point entirely. And here comes some ethical red flags. The player voice is distorted, no transparency, absolutely unclear consent boundaries, there are just none, and unchecked bias. So some examples, like absolutely it's blind, unreviewed use of AI, like, hey, what are the top 10 reasons games fail? Summarize this interview. Just do this. That's all. And this is actually the first level, and most likely all of us, we've been at this particular level, and it's completely fine, but let's move on next. What we see on the second level, and I decided to call this one the task automator. Here, there's, again, at this level, there's no this kind of a human filter. There's, again, he's lacking of critical thinking, and there's no care for how player's voice might be distorted or flattened. The ethical red flags here are absolutely loud, again, because there's missing transparency, unclear consent, unchecked bias, and worst of all, the illusion that insight is just a button away. This is where AI becomes your go-to sidekick, I would say. You're just helping with all the routine stuff you probably not that want to, well, to make. Like, hey, transcription, hey, here's the video, just write it out. Survey questions, no problem. Like, hey, ChatGPT, give me 10 questions for this playtest. Or, hey, just pick up some key moments of this playtest or whatsoever. So these tasks seem simple, and that's exactly the trap. Like, we think like this is a low stake, I just want to save time, let AI handle it. And here is the thing that even these small tasks carry weight. A bad transcript can raise emotional tone. Generic questions for the survey can miss the real friction. And sometimes AI tagging can overlook nuances or misinterpret some context. And here I can remember an absolutely incredible case which we had previously. So we had a unmoderated playtest, and also our player had on the background TV. It was quite loud, and he was watching basketball. So, and the whole the platform that we were using for these unmoderated playtests, it has like inbuilt AI stuff, and when we were reading the summary of this particular playtest, and the game was like, it was a shooter game or something like this, we had some conclusions like, the player disliked this basketball game. It was absolutely unclear how player just give the ball to another player. And we're like, what's happening? What was in this playtest? Like, do we actually use the correct build? So yeah, it's actually really crucial for us to check out, like, is it right? So yeah, it was great that we actually were checking this thing, but so let you know. Yeah, and I guess let's move on. Here's the third step, and I decided to call it the guided assistant. This is where AI actually starts to feel like a research partner. Yeah, you're not just delegating tasks, you're actively steering it. Like, you might say, here are the list of questions, please remove bias, or group these quotes by emotional tone, and then review them. So this one is more thoughtful, collaborative space, and it feels good. Like, seems like we found out the sweet spot, but again, as always, there are some risks. One of the biggest one, overediting AI output instead of truly writing it. It's easy to get lazy and think like, well, AI got most of it right. I'll just pick a few words probably, but that can mean subtle biases or context error go completely unnoticed. And if I shape in how we structure the data, even slightly, we're starting still building on foundations we didn't fully design. And here comes again ethical red flags. Ethically, this is where bias gets more like trickier. It hides under this so-called helpfulness. The data looks polished. The tags absolutely make sense. Everything's perfect, but are we sure it's not smoothing over the emotion? So yes, it's progress, but we have to stay sharp, because at this level, it's very easy to think that we are in control when we're actually just refining the output of an invisible system. And again, some examples of the third level, like, hey, just remove some bias from this survey, or cluster player quotes, or draft a summary of pain points from these notes, and I'll refine it. So at this level, you have like, you're providing to the AI more context, but it's still not enough, and we should be really cautious here. Let's move on to the fourth level. And this is where AI and the researcher finally feel like true co-partners, each with a role and each bringing value. You're giving the AI context about the game, the audience, the goals, the business goals, your research goals, and everything like, and using it to co-create. The key difference here is intent. You're not just asking for output, you're shaping it. You know what to look for. You refine it, you do some cross checks. But still, even here, the risks don't disappear, and it's completely fine. We might be a bit of overconfident, and overconfidence in AI's ability to understand context can creep in. You might forget to document how it was used. You might assume, well, validate means correct, and actually it's not. And ethically, again, we still have to ask, are we oversimplifying player intent? Are we giving AI too much say in shaping the narrative, or this kind of question? And this is actually a truly powerful level, but it still demands some intellectual honesty, constant reflection, and a clear commitment to transparency. Because at this point, the decisions we make with AI can really shape how our teams understand players, and that's not something we could and we should take lightly. As always, here we go, some examples, and here you can see that those examples of questions and prompts to AI are getting more and more advanced. And here, like, hey, given this particular mobile puzzle game and its player types, and again, you're providing those player types, like derived 5 emotional neutral survey question for potential motivation, for example. Or here's like compare usability pain points across free playtests and surface recurring themes, don't include duplicates. So you're shaping the output, you understand what's in it, you know how it was perceived, and you're just giving some context, you're framing the AI, and you're doing this correctly. And most importantly, everything should be transparent, and everyone should be aware of how, when, and in which particular cases the AI was used. And here we go, the final level of usage of the AI, the expert system. This one is super advanced, and this is where AI becomes deeply integrated into research workflow. So it's not just a helper, but a part of the infrastructure. This is the ideal version, ideal type of usage of the AI. It's when you're not just using it in one particular or in some several cases, but you spend some time, you teach the AI somehow, you taught it how to work. You're working with really like a custom tuned models, and ideally they were trained on your own data, on your formats, your language, and your way of interpreting play behavior. So there's a lot of context. There's the whole context behind and the background about the project itself, about the questions, about the different other researches that you have conducted previously. And here it goes, like at this level, the AI should constantly carry the background of the project, not just technically, but contextually. It needs to know the game genre, the player type, the study goals, like any type of nuances of specific requests. So it should be constantly updated by you. And yeah, it's definitely, you need to spend some time to make this, and it is actually worth it. But here's the thing that, again, the more advanced it gets, the easier it is to trust it blindly. And it's not great. And this is the specific of complex systems. There might become some white boxes. And tool biases go unnoticed, and worst of all, decision-making gradually shifts from researcher to the machine, and without anyone even meaning and knowing for that to happen. So ethically, it becomes harder to track consent, the data usage, and emotional integrity. And yes, bias can still scale, and should be aware of it. We should track it. We should know what to do and know what's happening. So the fifth level is where the power lives, but also where responsibilities grows. If we want expert system, we need to build the system, build them with expert awareness. So it's not just smart AI, but context-aware, ethically aligned, and always grounded in human judgment. Again, some examples, and you can see that our like prompts from the very beginning to now they're getting more and more advanced. And here's like the most advanced type of prompts that you might have, like using our past 10 projects or 5 projects, some player segments, generate new onboarding UX texts, test criteria for mid-core strategy games, or like you're just giving the examples of those particular games. So here, the AI is trained, knows the context, but we should be aware that we should like continuously, we should update it. And this is the point. And I want to say that this level, it's actually fascinating, super powerful, but yeah, we need to put, well, to spend some time to work on it. So overall, what I wanted to say that it was the 5 level of using the AI, like from chaotic prompting to context-rich collaboration. And we've seen how AI can support player research and where it can quietly go off the rails. And here's the takeaway. AI isn't the enemy. I'm not going to say like, hey, don't use it, never. It's not here to replace us, but it's here to challenge us, to raise the bar. So if you want to use it well, here are just the rules of the game. Like, don't forget, be transparent. Like, let your team and stakeholders know when and why AI is used and how. Don't forget to review AI output. Yeah, never trust it blindly because it can just mess up everything. AI here is to assist, not to decide. You are the decision maker, you are the researcher, so don't forget about it. About prompting, always prompt with purpose. Don't forget that the quality of the output is, it depends on the quality of your prompts. So yeah, don't forget also about the context. Respect consent and context, because this is the thing that we should be aware of, especially with real player data. No shortcuts, like no assumptions. Always say everyone like, hey, this part, it was AI. Don't forget to update it, audit for hidden bias. Yeah, models, they learn from us. So including our blind spots, actually. So don't forget to check and then check again and again. It's not just a, well, just a one task. It's a huge process. And last but not least, use human judgment first, because especially when things get messy, emotional, or ethical gray, that's where we're needed the most. So yeah, I would say that AI might be good at patterns, but we're better at meaning. And yeah, actually that's all for my part. Thanks so much for joining this walkthrough. And let's keep building research practices that are smart, ethical, and still deeply human. And yeah, don't forget to drop your questions.
Thank you so much.
All right, we can have some questions, maybe like 1 or 2 questions now, and then after the whole panel.
Yeah, I can see an amazing question about like how deep or detailed context is enough for AI to get the best outcome quality, but avoid red flags. An amazing question. Yes, be never possible to avoid all the red flags we should be aware of, and we should check, double check, triple check each other and check the AI about the process, not just one text. And I would say the ideal level of contextual detail for AI is to maximize output quality while avoiding privacy or security red flags. And it really depends on the test, but like if I would say like for a general framework, so first, yeah, we did like a really good context, like high quality, safe details. It means like we should ask the AI its role definition, and you're like telling him, hey, imagine like you're a UX strategist working with mobile game, you're calling the genre developers. Then you're asking about and telling the project scope, like what's happening at this particular moment where you're going to prompt the AI. Then it's better to ask about the process overviews, like what are you going to use, what you want to get, what ideas, what other ideas, other cases, our research methods, also the AI can suggest, for example. And this should be aligned with your goals and outcomes. And this is also one thing that you should write as detailed as possible. And strengths, like tell like I'm usually when I'm using like the ChatGPT, for example, I always like saying, hey, ChatGPT, if there's no like for example, I want to get like top 3 the biggest issues of the last 5 playtests, for example. But imagine that actually there's no 3 issues, there's only 2. Well, in this case, I'm usually like telling him like, hey, if there's no 3, just write me the correct example, show me the correct part that actually that issues that arise. So I'm really trying to avoid this situation, but he absolutely confidently says like, hey, here we go, 3 issues. And I completely don't care if I just made that up. And about, yeah, the risk context, like it's the thing that we should avoid or anonymize any type of personal identifiable information, some sensitive internal data, like release product specs, salary data, I don't know, some client-specific secrets, some strategies, maybe NDAs, like anything just related to this. And also, it's better to avoid some financial or legal data unless you have like a absolutely secure platform that is specifically designed for that. So yeah, long story short, sorry for this really long answer, but yeah. I really hope that I answered the question.
Nice. I think Daniil seems happy with that. And we have another one from Mine.
Yeah, I can see the question in which part of the research process was the most successful one where you work with AI. And to be honest, I really don't want to answer this question because the Chunhui's speech will be just amazing. Like the one will be answering this question. But yeah, just a small hint for myself. I really enjoy using AI at the very beginning. To use it like a co-host, co-creator, co-researcher for hypotheses, for understanding, especially, for example, a new genre, a new case, a new specifications. In this case, it's absolutely helpful. It brings exact links where I can go and check out all the information. I can discuss with you some ideas, some hypotheses, some possible questions I might even ask to the customer, for example, to our stakeholders. So at this very beginning, this case, yeah, I truly enjoy using it because it's like really powerful tool which helps you to get answers to all your almost all of your questions. But again, I'm constantly asking me to bring the particular references, and I'm doing the double check to see if it's well, if he's not lying. So yeah, and then I hope that Chunhui will just amazingly present all her presentations. So yeah, I guess the other part, sorry, but yeah, she will answer, I guess.
Thanks, Maria.
Okay.
Thank you, Maria.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, yeah, exactly. Minna, I think you will hear more about for your question from Chunhui and Daniil as well. Right, so next up we have Chunhui. I think yeah. Right, I'll just let you.
Hi, did I like share my screen? Am I?
Yes, we can
Okay,
see it.
correctly. Okay, perfect. Hi everyone. Yeah, thanks Maria for giving us this like general high level of understanding how we can use AI and be careful with all the red flags at different levels. And what I'm going to take you on a journey is also through how AI is going to shape the user research across different stages. We will start also with some bigger pictures. A lot of nuances has been explained by Maria, and I'll be quickly going through them. What AI is good at, what AI is bad at, where the human expertise is still crucial for us, and how AI is going to fit into different stages. And from there, we will be narrowing down to see some very practical applications, how we can use AI to create some research materials, to generate some structured discussion guide, or even organize some effective sessions or synthesis for us. After me, Daniil will also give some amazing examples of how to use it at different stages. In general, we just want this session to be as practical as possible. And my goal is that you can take away some examples from me, and tonight you can be applying those prompts or whatever onto your own research result. And let's get started. I also have a introduction about myself, which company I'm from, and which team I belong to. I'm from the company that is called Wargaming. We have
Sorry, Chunhui, I think I'm just gonna stop you for a second. We can't
Sure.
hear you well. There's some sort of
latency in the mic.
Is it okay maybe
Okay.
to do it without the headphones maybe?
Yeah, let's try it with that way.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, let's
Sorry
do
about
it. Yeah, I hope I didn't miss a lot of information for you. So I was introducing myself, which company I'm from, and which team I belong to. I'm from the company called Wargaming. We have more than 25 years experience developing and publishing free-to-play games for players. Now we have the live products, World of Tanks, World of Warships on different platforms. We are also having unreleased title that is currently under development. And our team, which is Center for Player Insights, we are more than 10 researchers in the team. We are helping different products to find the pain points, validate some concept, in general to enhance the player experience. And like everybody else in the industry, and what we are talking about today is to explore how AI can help us to enhance this research process to do some work more effectively. As for me, I'm a mixed method UX researcher, now landing in gaming. I have more than 5 years experience. I'm having my background with psychology and artificial intelligence. It's kind of the perfect space for me to share my takeaway and also my team's learning with all of you. As Maria has already mentioned something, and here I'm just rehearsing some key points, what AI is not good at. AI is not good at empathy. It cannot truly understand human emotions. In interviews, AI can definitely transcribe and analyze words, but it cannot capture some subtle expressions or some body languages which we can observe via a usability test. AI is not good at nuanced decision making when it comes to deciding whether a user feedback would be nice to have or very critical needed. It's not based on how frequently the player are mentioning it, but rather based on our own experience to decide the severity of different problems. AI is also not good with some contextual adaptability. I know all of you may already heard some AI tools can do some simple interviews with human beings. However, human researchers are so much better in adjusting the questions based on the responses. AI can only follow some predefined structure, or we specifically re-prompt the AI to adjust some specific AI interview structure. Otherwise, AI is very bad with contextual adaptability. And as Maria also has mentioned about ethical reasoning, AI does not understand this kind of ethical consideration when it comes to privacy, fairness, or biases, which will definitely require human judgment. And the last point has also been previously mentioned is about hallucination. Hallucination does not 100% happen in any responses, but it can happen unexpectedly, and we cannot predict when and where this hallucination will be happening. Therefore, a human always need to do some double confirming work to see what AI is doing wrong. Since we understand what AI is not good at, we need to treat AI as some assistant for us to do our researches. Now, what AI is good at? AI is good at scaling things. When we are processing some large data sets, if we want to do it quickly and efficiently, we can use AI to help us to identify some common themes. AI is very good at detecting themes or correlations within our quantitative or qualitative data. It can group some similar concepts or sentiment together and to uncover some insights for us. AI is also good at helping us to serve as a second set of eyes when we are trying to write some paragraphs. It's not avoidable that it will be having some grammar problems or some things are not consistent, and AI can help us to do this kind of double check work. And AI can also help us to expand, to have an additional perspective, such as when we are creating discussion guide, we may miss some important aspect to consider. When checking the draft version AI has created for us, we can easily identify some overlooked aspects that we may not initially considering. And of course, as everybody has also mentioned, AI can also help us to create some amazing visuals, such as for presentation and all this kind of information. Since we already understand what AI is good at and we want to use it as our assistant, how are we going to fit into different research stages? And here I'm showing you for different stages how we can use it for both qual and quant study. When it comes to research preparation, we can use AI to create some usability hypothesis. It can help us to create some survey draft. When we are doing field work, maybe there are already some tools that can be creating some note taking for us, but we can also use AI to do some asynchronized note taking for us. It can also help us to serve as a programming assistant when we don't know how to automate some progress and we want to write some programming script. AI is such a good learning tool for us to understand, okay, in which context, what kind of code should we apply, and it can help us speed up some work. When it comes to data analysis, we can use AI to do some simple semantic analysis, or we can use different analysis techniques where we can compare the result that is coming from different analysis techniques and to see if there's anything in common or anything that is different. So we can use AI as a tool to be this research assistant to compare the results together. We can, of course, use AI to clean up things and also to analyze some open-end answers. When it comes to reporting, we can use AI to help us tell a better story based on the narrative that we already have. We can use AI to be the second pair of eyes to help us proofread or create some word cloud. And when it comes to presentation, we can create some visuals, some amazing images, icons, or summarize the sessions, or do some note takeaways for our stakeholders. And how are we going to do it? Of course, we're going to use AI to create some prompt, and I'm going to give like some framework and use some metaphor of clothing. Maybe you guys already know something already. I may be repeating something, but I hope it will give you some summarized overview of how we can use AI as a good with a good framework. I'm using the metaphor of us walking in the cold winter. What we definitely need to have is a piece of jacket. And the jacket would be here taking ChatGPT as an example. It's always the same with all the other Gen AI tools. That there are some general settings that we can be putting in. We can give ChatGPT some personality. We want to talk in some certain tones. I know a lot of people prefer Clouder as the AI tool instead of ChatGPT. We can ask ChatGPT to behave the same as the other AI tool. We can define the personality. We can also let AI know who we are, our role, so it can personalize the information or the setting for us. When it comes to the interface itself, we can create a certain project, which here I'm using the metaphor of a sweater. And here we can create a project where we can put in specific instructions and also some project files for AI to keep check in. So we think this project, AI will always take into this project instruction or file into consideration and help you to reduce the time to input the same thing again and again. And we think this sweater, what we need to change every day is actually the t-shirt inside in order to keep us in the hygiene state. Then this is individual conversations. How are we going to create this kind of individual conversations? I'm creating this prompt structure that I call it ideas. It's kind of a combination of all the popular prompt structure that is now online. So I'm here calling it ideas. I means identification. It's always good for us to define the role of AI, and sometimes always good to define the role of ourselves. What do you want AI to perform? Should it be a UX researcher? Should it be a market analysis? So it can know what kind of domain knowledge it should be adopting. D means deliverables. We should specify what kind of final outcome we want AI to have. Should it be some summary or what kind of output that we want to define? E means examples. It's always very good to give AI some reference materials, and sometimes we call it shots. Few shot, one shot to give one example or several examples, so it can understand what kind of examples input framework that we would like to give. It could be also some past insights that we have written for our past report. So AI can have a better context. A means ask. We should define the main request, what we want AI to perform. It should summarize, it should analyze, it should extract insights. What do we want it to do? To specify the action that we want AI to take. S means specification. And this is the step that we can ask AI to set boundaries, to set the quality. Sometimes I only want to write in the current tense. I don't want to write in past tense. This is the place for us to define the requirement. Should it be in bullet point? Should we limit how many words AI should be writing? We should give all this kind of specifications. I hope this ideas framework will give you a better structure to write some specific prompt that can allow AI to give us some responses in clarity, in quality, and with more focus. However, sometimes it would be very difficult for us to write all this information all together because it doesn't come into our brain, out of nowhere and say, okay, I remember I need to write the background, I need to write the objects. Sometimes it's difficult for us to be as comprehensive. Therefore, there is technique that we can use that is called a flipped interaction pattern. I'm here putting the prompt, kind of also following the ideas framework. I'm defining my role. I'm a game researcher. We are having the game that is called Happy Tanks. And now we are trying to do the study about the low activity players. We are trying to find the the reasons why they are having this low activity, how we can re-engage them on our platform. And I want the AI to help me to create a one-to-one interview discussion guides. And I want AI to keep asking me questions, and this is the action that I want AI to take. And where it should stop is until the point that the AI think it gathered enough information for a good discussion guide. And I'm asking it specifically to ask me one question at one time. And AI will start asking me questions. Okay, are there any special event that is going on cause people low engagement? What is your definition of low activity? Do you have some previous metrics data about the drop-offs? How long should the discussion guide be? And also, should it be online, offline? All these questions, AI will just keep asking you. And after you give these specific answers, it's kind of a brainstorm session that AI help you to also organize the thought that is in your brain. With all this specific knowledge, AI will be able to create some discussion guide, as an example that I showed at the right side, some 30 minutes with different topics. Of course, it always serves as a draft. Then we can start working on it and finally use the version to as a guideline to talk with our players. And in the end, we have done the field work and we gathered all the information, and we have also the transcript from the players. The next step is to do some synthesis. With the synthesis, I'm showing an example of us having this. I'm not sure if I'm seeing you guys. I'm sorry. Let me reshare it again.
No worries. We can see you, and we were able
Okay.
to see
Did I stop sharing for some reason?
Yes, we can see
Yes.
the presentation now.
Okay, I realized there is a problem with this this interface, but I hope it's back.
Yep,
Yes.
it's back.
Okay, I hope I can carry on with where I left. I hope this was the last synthesis. So about synthesis, here I'm giving an example of how we analyze the result from the happy tanks. What are we gonna do? First, as what I have indicated, you create some AI projects. And this is the prompt that I have used for my project instruction. Act as a game user researcher, refer the transcript that I have uploaded, define the objective, define the goals. We have some findings from previous research and what kind of language and formatting guidelines that we want AI to be performing. And when we are giving AI those instructions, when it comes to individual conversations, it's always very important to give AI some step-to-step granular things for it to perform. If we put all the requirement all at once, AI will get not saying get super confused, but it will try to give you a simple example to cover everything, which is normally not the thing that we want. So it's very important for us to break those requests into small steps, such as the example that I show here. The first, okay, can you find some recurring themes or find some unexpected insights for me? And the next step would be asking, hey, can you organize the things according to the severities and follow the special format that I'm providing? And the next step, I would say, okay, I have also taken some notes. Can you refine your synthesis with the input that I have been giving you? With this kind of granular steps, we will be able to let AI to come up with some more refined result instead of just come up with some very high level and integrated stuff without quality. And lastly, as what we have always have all mentioned is hallucination. We cannot avoid hallucination, but we can reduce hallucination. So the tip for us is first, always ask for source reference or so-called quotes from AI to understand there is some actual ground that AI is landing on. And there's also a technique that we can be applying is to ask AI to come up with some prompt that can prevent it to perform hallucination. This is also a general useful tips for us to create prompt. When AI is performing something that is unexpectedly, we can always ask AI to to create some prompt for us, telling it, hey, I want the format to be like this, and I see that you're not doing this. If I want to achieve this goal, how should I write the prompt so you understand what I want to achieve? And within hallucination, and here is an example that I asked AI to come up with. So it writes some prompt saying, only extract direct quotes, only provide references, so it can reduce the situation with hallucination. However, we can never prevent it 100%. So it's always important for us to double check for the accuracy. That's so much about using AI in different stages. I hope Daniil later will give you some more nice examples and something for you to take away. AI is only our assistant. We can see there are so many things that AI is not good at. So it's always important to apply our human judgment. We should be very specific. We should define the roles, the outcome, give clear context, such as using the format that have been created called ideas. We should always validate the AI outcomes. We should watch out for the hallucination and double check the things that has been created by AI. As also Maria also mentioned, we should handle our player information responsibly. We should always avoid sharing some confidential information with AI, so we don't put our players' information in danger. And lastly, AI is for us to improve our efficiency. It's not for us to set our hands free and let AI run by itself. All right, I think I finished if you have some questions.
Amazing. Thank you so much for this presentation. We have some questions in the chat.
Okay, let me have a look.
Okay, was Alicia? Okay.
Yeah.
It was a statement. That was
It is a
so
statement.
Let me check.
Any questions, fine. Anything about prompting, anything about using it in research or any practices, any questions welcoming.
Yeah, may I ask how often do you use all of these tools, AI tools, any kind of?
For me personally?
For you or your team?
Okay, I think it was not so often before, but I think we are getting this habit. For me personally, I'm kind of sometimes just let it to run some draft version, and then apply my human knowledge. I know that I will be applying my own knowledge afterwards. So if I want to quickly check some results that was conducted by another person, and I haven't been maybe conducting the research session by myself, but I need to work on the material, then it's very helpful for AI to give me a quick overview of what has been gone through, so I can have some quick judgment. And I also ask AI to help me to find some quotes. It doesn't always work well, but if you ask it to be very specific, use this technique that I have shared, ask AI to come up with this prompt, it kind of works well, and also can help you clean up some quotes to get rid of some fillers or stuttering from the players. And it has been working also very well. I would say I use it pretty often. And there are also different AI models. Maybe you can be playing around. There are like for O or this O1 for like different kind of analysis. They are a little bit different and strength on different areas. So I would encourage everybody to play it around to see which scenarios you think it fit you better. Okay, I see some nice feedback from the chat. And I got one question. Let me read it out in case you're not seeing it. Can integrating AI with actual player telemetry, survey data, or text transcript to reduce hallucination and increase alignment with real player behavior. I'm not 100% sure that I understand this question. Is it about to create some knowledge base for AI so it can align better? Maria, do you want to?
Oh, yeah, I can just clarify if you don't mind. So yeah, my question is about like, so yeah, AI systems often hallucinate. That is like it generates some strange, inaccurate information. So my question here, so for example, if we take an AI and somehow try to teach it like via like some player telemetry, some survey data, some like real player behavior, and for example, use some tools from analytics. I mean, like for example, there's a bunch of players like just came back to the game after leaving it for 3 or 4 years. So they just come back. They have like these particular behavior, which is differently, like absolutely different from other types of behavior of other players, and we want to like somehow to teach the AI of about the behavioral patterns of these new players, like not that new, just newcomers. Let's call them like this. And what do you think? Like, will it help to reduce these type of hallucinations about like making up well, you know, some making up some findings about the player behavioral data? So
Okay, from my own personal experience, I think it might reduce the possibility, but it can never 100% prevent like AI hallucination. The reason is because it is actually a predictive model, which means it only predict the next word based on the previous word. So based on this context, it's never going to do exactly what you want it to do. It can make things up, especially when you give a very long text for AI to analyze. When it reach to its capacity, it will say, okay, I need to give this answer out. Then it will start making things up. So it can only process until its capacity, and then you don't know which like stages things will be working wrong. And then the suggestion that I would give to everyone is, if you find some prompt that is working well, keep using that prompt. There must be something that you have done right. Create your own prompt library, so you can have those useful prompts you can keep using. If they are working well, most likely it will work well next time, but still try to double check on things. That would be my suggestions.
So many other question?
I think we have.
How do I normally how can I check the quality of the synthesis stage? So I will always ask AI for references, such as ask for quotes or ask where it findeth information, and I will use that keyword to refer back in the transcript, so I can double check if they made things up. And this is for qualitative research. In quantitative research, maybe it will be very difficult to check all the answers. My colleague has this amazing idea that take 10% to check this quality of this 10% randomly, randomized 10%, like randomly picked 10%, sorry. Then you can check the quality. If everything is fine, maybe pick another 10% randomly and check the quality. And most likely you're gonna make your accuracy to above 90% because you have check the quality of this randomized sample. And this would be the way maybe to approach the quantitative data.
I think that's it for now for the questions. But yeah, we will have an open Q&A at the end if you have other questions coming up. On that note, let's give the mic to Daniil. Thanks, Chunhui.
Hello, hello, hello. Can you see my screen? Right. Okay, I see your reactions. Thank you. Yeah, let's start with a short introduction. I missed it at the beginning. So this guy, I hope it looks still like me, maybe a bit younger. My name is Daniil, double I. Yeah, it's a Russian name. That's why it's a bit weird for majority of people. Something about my background. Yes, we can't avoid mentioning wargaming. I was also part of it and worked on different projects. My colleague already mentioned, but also I've worked at other companies like 10 Square Games, different type of games, but also mobile. And my previous company was in Saudi Arabia. It was called Steer Studios, and it already released one mobile game called Grand Crash, something like that. It doesn't matter. And my current company is Fortis. And actually, his announcement, we have an open position. So if you're interested in game user research, AI or anything related to this, please come to us, check our website. We are 100% remote company. So almost any places in the world. I don't know about Antarctica, but we'll handle it somehow. And yeah, let's go to the topic. So thanks to my colleagues, we already explained a lot about AI, so I don't need to cover it. And I'm gonna focus on how I use it on my daily basis. I'll give you some prompts, some examples. But before we start, I just wanna chat with you. So please type on the chat, plus those who use any kind of AI on a daily basis. I just want to understand, audience, how familiar you are. Awesome, awesome. So we are all experts here. So probably I should skip my presentation. Okay, let's go to examples. But of course, first of all, my colleague again already mentioned that yes, everyone trying to do AI, and why we all of us so obsessed with it, because stakeholders, our daily life is asking us to do it faster, and be better than we did it yesterday and deliver results as soon as possible. And as you know, our work contains different stages like thinking about projects, writing survey, writing study plans, collecting data, and making analysis. Of course, at least for now, with AI, we can't collect data faster or better. So that's why we'll focus on first part about doing survey and thinking about survey, and last part to analyze data in different ways, in different methods. And innovation is a part of our life. Innovation part of request from our stakeholder again, and from a daily routine. So we need to be innovative with every way of innovation we can see. And everyone values insights, not just data. That's why AI should and can help us to make it more insightful and again, faster and more interesting. Disclaimer, thanks to Maria and Chunhui, we already explained everything about problems with AI, pitfalls, red flags, so I don't need to talk about it a lot. So let's move forward. So here's the different areas where I personally use AI or ChatGPT in our example. It's varied from just brainstorming when I don't have any idea about the project, to planning particular study, and to analysis when we working with data and find some insightful information. So the first part, brainstorming, I briefly tell you, like, for me, it's not a huge help. It's more about tool that help me to overcome this white paper fear when I don't know when to start. I just can chat with AI, with ChatGPT, and it gives me some hints where to start. And usually I argue with it, and usually AI is wrong. I'm correct. So it's brainstorming only to start working on project. Communication, as I mentioned, our company, for example, very international. We work from different, even continents. So communication is key for us. We should be very clear very precise, and again, quite fast with what we're trying to give to our stakeholders and our colleagues. That's why AI and all of these tools helping us to make our messages and insights very precise, short, and clear for everyone. In this free area, I will give you more examples of what I'm doing and how I'm doing. So let's start with planning. Planning, the planning might happen on different stages of a project. You can come at the beginning when it's just ideation. You can come somewhere in the middle when prototype already existing, or you can join the team when it's already live game. And for all of these situations, you need to have a very high-level plan to show it to the team and to be able to discuss it with the team. So, and I always start with this white font sentence: act as a user or market researcher, depends on your role. And as already previously mentioned, I like this idea structure. So you're explaining what exactly you are expecting from a ChatGPT. You're asking and encourage him to ask you additional question, and you always iterate, you always discuss outcome with a ChatGPT. And this outcome is this example of outcome, how ChatGPT can help you. Okay, this is a different type of study we should do on different stages or this particular stage, and you can take something for inspiration, make it as structured, as detailed as you want, and go into details further, like for example, writing survey or writing task for the interview. So, and for surveys, again, as it was already mentioned, give as much example and as much content as you can. And yeah, use your previous work, use your previous survey, for example, and just give it to ChatGPT as a document. You can just copy everything from the previous survey as a text, or give it as a document or as an Excel document, whatever you use. It's fine. It's mostly, you'll be able to read everything what is inside. After that, explain again in detail what type of survey you're doing right now, what type of main questions you have in mind, and yeah, what is the outcome you're expecting from a ChatGPT. Of course, after the first try, it's going to be really messy. It's going to be shit. So never use the first outcome. It's really awful. Everyone will notice it when you use it. So iterate, reread it, rewrite, explain more details to your helper. And after that, you might be able to see something like more or less structured survey or study plan or interview plan and interview questions. And this is my favorite part, analysis. Of course, again, disclaimer, results, outcome, and insights are not 100% accurate. You should always check it. Yeah, ask for hallucination, iterate again, and double check data and outcome you received. Let's start with a quantitative part. I think this one is less questionable because it's mostly what you're going to do by your own hands, and ChatGPT will just help you to accurately analyze data. And I'll give you one example. I want to do a segmentation or clusterization of my users. I have different data. It could be social data. It could be answers from survey. And I ask him, okay, I want to write it in R, Python, SPSS, whatever programming language you know I use. It's of course better to understand at least what's going to be outcome and what kind of languages it's writing to you. And you will see amazing, very detailed explanation and results from ChatGPT. Pay attention to all of these green statements. It tries to explain you what this next command doing, and it gives you some hints to understand why you should use this particular code. So you just copy paste it in your programming language in RStudio, for example, run it, and you will see results, you will see outcome. If you don't see outcome, for example, the RStudio provides you some error, just copy the RStudio error give it to ChatGPT, explain again what happened and what kind of error you received. It will help you to overcome this issue. It might be issue with your data, with typing, and if it doesn't help after several iterations, maybe a problem that you didn't explain ChatGPT what kind of data you provide, so be more precise, or clean your data just in advance, so you can have less empty cells, for example, or less no answers data, and so on. As a result of all of this interesting stuff, you will get some outcome, of course. And maybe you are not so familiar with clustering or any kind of analysis in R or in any program languages. You can ask ChatGPT again, okay, you gave me this silhouette score as an outcome, but I have no idea what to do with it, how to use it. Ask ChatGPT, and it give you some details, how to interpret the data, how to read data, and how to explain data to your stakeholders, because they might also don't know what is the silhouette score. And second part, of course, qualitative, and we already talked about the qualitative data, how not precise the outcome might be, and because of it, you need to be very detailed when you give a prompt. So again, be a user researcher. I want you to analyze open-ended question, so you give some context. This is particular question I have provided you, so I usually don't give the whole database, otherwise it feels super confused. Explain what you're expecting. I want to have a summary of games by popularity. Group them by genre, or group them by location, or group them by something you need. And after that, at the end, you just asking for a particular format, which is more useful for you or easy to check, for example. The data might be something like that. But again, even this number of 20 unique games mentioned, it might be not super accurate. It might be not exactly 20, it might be 15, it might be 30. It's more trending or direction for you to look deeper in the data. So you see that, for example, puzzles type of games are the most popular. So you can filter out and do more analysis about these puzzle games. Are really so popular among your audience or not? But if you want to be really precise with data, very cool with data, you can also work with ChatGPT. But first of all, cleaning your data, preparing your data, ask it to provide you all possible spellings of the game names, for example. Again, provide you, of course, a lot of data. You can see different type of writing and spelling of, for example, Monopoly Go, and use these data as your dictionary for the future projects, the same project for the future questions. And in that case, the data will be more accurate, the data will be more precise, and even the number, maybe it's still not 100%, but maybe it's 80% correct. And the last example I want to tell you about, I call it a bonus example because not in every studio user researcher do it, but sometimes, especially in small studios, it's very useful to use all of these AI generated things and visuals for concept testing, for hypothesis testing. In some studios, even user research need to do UA tests sometimes. So it also could help you to, you can take AI generated things and your original things, combine it in different ways and test results, and it will make you work faster. You don't need to waiting for artists if it's artists available, or you just have really fast concept tests giving you at least direction, and you don't need to spend a lot of time and a lot of money on really polished pictures, for example. So it was a really quick observation how I use prompts in daily based routine. So if you have any questions about it, let's talk.
Thank you, Daniil. Let's see on the
Thank
chat.
you.
Anything? Anyone have any questions? Feel
It's
free.
totally fine not to have one.
Mhm. Also, any general questions as well?
I have a question. Thank you for the presentation, Daniil. Could you please say, do you use this programming language because of large data, or because it's more accurate to analyze, or because it's just user research specific tool, which you guys use usually? Because I'm marketing manager, I'm not a researcher. I don't do this on a daily basis, but I'm also interested.
Okay, so I would say every team or every company has their own preferences in terms of programming language or analysis language. So it might be that people using SPSS and don't use any kind of programming or coding skill at all. It's totally fine. And we use it only because it's, I would say it's our preferences. I mean, R or Python is more or less the same. And this type of programming languages gives you very precise analysis. It gives you all needed type of analysis, like you can see is the difference between data or between results are significantly different or not. So you can be more confident about what you're saying about differences, about the outcome. And yeah, it just helps you to make more complicated or more complex type of analysis.
Okay, thanks.
I think Maria also has a question.
Yeah, actually, I have a question not only for Daniil, but like for everyone. So right now, overall, like discovering like different types of AI, so ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot, etc. So there's a bunch of them, and I'm like just going one by one, trying to understand which one is better, which one is not. So I have like a general question to everyone, and it would be really great if you share your experience. So, which AI tools have been like the most efficient and effective for like regarding when we're talking about the analysis of qualitative and quantitative data, and without, well, losing the emotional nuances, well, as much as possible, of course. Like maybe you found out that some models are or platforms are better suited for these kind of particular questions, tasks, and there are some other models that is better to use for other kind of tasks. So it'll be really great to know your ideas, your thoughts, and to share this experience. And I'm ready to share with mine. Like I really started with ChatGPT, then right now I'm like kind of messing up with Copilot, and I don't know why. It's kind of hard to reflect, but I really enjoy like regarding the efficiency about time spent. Like using ChatGPT is kind of more flexible. I can easier customize the model to teach it rather than the Microsoft's Copilot. So I haven't tried others. So if you tried other AI, so just please share. It would be really interesting and great to know about your experience.
Yeah, I tried a bit Gemini from, I'm not sure, Microsoft
Google.
probably.
I think it's Google.
Oh, Google, yeah. So you see my level of knowledge. But yeah, Gemini is, I wouldn't say it's better than ChatGPT, but it gives you a bit different point of view. And for example, for brainstorming, maybe my ChatGPT already well educated by my prompts and previous history, but Gemini gives you some ideas or suggestions just from different point of view, and maybe it will help you to find a new way to do, not to do a study, but to formulate questions, for example.
Yeah, I agree on that. So we use Gemini as well. I do, at least. I don't know if Morgan does. But yeah, in our company. And I also like it's nice to ask both of them do the same thing, and then kind of have your own idea afterwards, merging the two.
Maybe for not my experience, but I know a lot of people, they really like Clouda. I'd never be sure that I'm pronouncing it correctly because I'm always trying to pronounce it in a German way. It's because you have noticed ChatGPT has been very encouraging, and sometimes there was already comments in Reddit saying that ChatGPT is being too agreeing, like, oh, you did amazing. Maybe you ask some very simple question, you are like, oh, you are reflecting it on it so hard. I admire you. So a lot of people tend to like Clouda more because of the personality. And this is also something that I found very interesting is there are some user research work or personality work, psychology work that is inside of those AI companies, and they are trying to train those personalities to cater, some need. And we can see ChatGPT is being more active and agreeing, and then while maybe Clouda is giving this image of like more knowledgeable. And in general, people are also having this experience when they are trying to write articles to correct grammars, correct writings. They tend to go for Clouda instead of going for ChatGPT. When you are doing something that is more creative, you are trying to use Clouda. As for Copilot, I didn't have so much experience with it. The good thing with Copilot is it has the Microsoft license. So if you're having the Office license, you won't be able, you won't need to worry about this like data protection thingy because it's shared within the same license. So it get rid of those consideration that you have to purchase an additional license to do all this kind of other work. Yeah, that would be some additional information that I want to add here.
Nice. I think also we have another question from Mine saying
Yeah.
if you use AI users to test products.
I would like to answer quickly on this because personally, in my practice of research, I don't use it, but I know that a lot of engineers at our work use it for coding, programming, and so on. So I think it's more like mathematical driven. I know that it scores really, really high when it comes to accuracy in mathematical reasoning. But for research, we haven't tried it yet. But I think it could be a great way also to talk with engineers on this part and how we can integrate it. But I know that from my colleagues, it's really used in programming and coding.
Anyone using it currently? No.
I guess we're gonna start. Early would try out.
All right. Any other questions? Wow, if we finish at 8, we're really Germans now.
Wow. Ready to go back now.
Finally.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining.
Thank you.
Such a lovely session. And yeah, keep in touch and tell us if you're kind of like curious about a specific area that we'd like to explore. Feel free to send a message to us.
And feel free also to connect with our panelists. We had their link. Maybe if you can just share your LinkedIn right now, or you'll be able to check it on our Game User Research LinkedIn page. But yeah, feel free to connect with them as well. That's nice. Thanks. Awesome.